Here's the AMI Continental 2 Jukebox. And I've been working on the crossover network in this. I put in all new capacitors. The originals were these non-polarized motor starting capacitors here. Electrolytic non-polarized. And the value of these is 31 to 42 microfarads. So to replace them, I use 82 microfarad at 250 volt. I wanted to get a physically big enough capacitor so that it would dissipate heat in this high current application. If you use too small of a non-polarized capacitor, it can be damaged if you're using it in a high current application, like for running a motor in a phase shift application, or in crossover applications where there's a lot of current. So this should provide a good reserve of power handling capability. It originally had 3 of those old non-polarized caps, so I put them in series with the positives at either end and the negatives connected together so that they become then a non-polarized capacitor. I also replaced an old paper cap with a 2.2 microfarad mylar cap. It's this gray one here. So it's got a pretty beefy crossover network in here. This, like the later RAL jukeboxes, provides double the amplifier power to the bass. It only has one bass speaker, so it connects across the positive outputs of the amplifier terminals to supply the bass, so you get maximum power where you need it. And plus, since bass frequencies are not as directional, it doesn't make as much of a difference that it's a mono signal. And then the stereo signals go to these speakers here. Plus, there's an additional tweeter for the summed signal here. So, in order to get into that woofer area and the crossover area, this panel here had to be removed. So I removed that, and I'm going to have to put it back on. Hopefully everything in here is going to work okay. I'll double and triple check it, because it's going to be hard to get the amp put back in for testing. If there's a problem, I have to rig it all down again, and so hopefully everything will be okay. And also I put in all new ballast bulbs and starters. Here's the one ballast pack. And these are 4, 6, and 8 watt ballasts, and I ordered them from a company in Las Vegas. I think it's American Gaming and Electronics. They had a real good deal on these ballasts, a lot better than you could get them buying them at the hardware store, and the hardware store doesn't even have these particular types. These ballasts here have a higher resistance for use with the smaller bulbs here, so it is important that you get the right type of ballast, because I think if you would have used the regular ballast, it's designed like for 15 through 22 watt lamps, it would allow too much current into these small bulbs. And I replaced everything in the lighting circuit, because even after replacing the ballasts, only one of the lamps worked. So there was problems in the lamps as well, and the starters. Here's the other ballast pack. There's one traditional ballast and 2 of the smaller ones here, because there's one large fluorescent lamp out there. So there's 2 small fluorescent lamps here. These are 9-inch, 6 watt I believe. And these are 12-inch, 8 watt. And these pillars here, these stereo round pillars, and they cast light out onto the title strip display. This opens up here, and the way that you get to the lamps is you pull up this little device here, and it's kind of tricky to get the lamp in there. You have to pull up the whole thing and then put the lamp on. It's kind of tough to get this back down. I'll have to just sort of fiddle with it to get it down. But here's the front fluorescent lamp. Is just a regular 24-inch lamp behind here. So jukeboxes, they do take a lot of work to get all the systems working. There's so many different systems, and then they have to be fixed to get the whole complete unit working. So I'm going to double check the crossover wiring. I'm going to put the amp and the preamp back on. The final thing I need to do is to run ground wires to everything. If you're going to have a grounded connection to the power line, which I recommend for safety, you've got to make sure that all the metal components inside are connected together and then connected to the ground prong on the power cord. Because if you have some things that are grounded and some that are not, the ungrounded things can build up a charge electrically, and you could get a shock by touching a grounded and a non-grounded thing at the same time. So I'm going to run all the ground wires to every metal part on this, and then after I do that, I'm going to put my meter, my ohm meter, with one end to the ground prong, and then just touch the probe to anything metal on this and make sure there's continuity, make sure all the grounds are connected together. So there's where I'm at on the jukebox right now.